Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hello, my golf friends. Welcome back to Above Par. This is Kathy. It's nice to have you here and listening. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate all the nice notes and you guys tuning in and listening every week and letting me know how you're getting so much great value out of the content that I'm sharing in your golf game and in your life. I really appreciate that. That's the whole purpose of why I do this podcast, is that you can use these tools and the things that I share with you in every area of your life. I'm so grateful for all the notes. Keep them coming. Thank you so much for them. And so today I want to talk to you about trying to stop negative thinking. Right? I've talked about negative thinking before, about how it can be a habit and that it creates negative emotions, which creates negative results. So we really want to be on top of our thinking. We want to think deliberately. We want to be aware of all those negative thoughts, understand that they're optional. I've talked about that a lot in previous podcasts. But what I hear a lot of people doing is they say to me they're trying to stop thinking negatively. They're trying not to think or have negative thoughts. And I want to bring up 3 points about it just to put it into a little bit of perspective, because the more that we try not to have negative thoughts, or that we freak out if we have negative thoughts, then we actually make it a bigger deal. So this is the first point that I want to make, is that your brain is naturally a bit negative. It has a tendency to scan the universe for different ways that you're going to get into trouble, or that you're going to experience pain, or that there's problems to solve. This is your brain's job. It does it by default. So for us to expect our brain not to be negative is unrealistic. And I know what happens is a lot of times people say, but there's those days when I don't have any negative thoughts. It's a beautiful day. The birds are chirping. The sky is blue. The weather's perfect. I'm playing beautifully. My mind is quiet. I call those green light days. Those are beautiful days where we're catching all the green lights. That's just not life. That's not golf. Golf is not all about green light days. We're not always going to catch every light, right? Sometimes we have red light days. And it's when we have those red light days, meaning that things come up that we have to deal with our brain with, we want to have the tools and the skills for when those negative thoughts pop up into our head, because they're going to happen. Right? Your brain's going to catastrophize things, and it's going to tell you how so many things are going to go wrong, and how you're going to get into trouble, and how you need to go back into the cave, sit on your couch, watch Netflix, and eat popcorn all day. So the first thing to realize is that your brain is naturally negative. It is going to come up with negative thoughts for you. It is going to offer different ways that there's a problem, especially if you send it to task looking for problems. Which leads me to point number 2, which is trying not to have negative thoughts. When we go out and you say, all right, I'm going to try not to be negative today, it's just not very realistic. And the more that you push yourself or push away negative thoughts, the more negative thoughts you have, because you have to give your attention to the negative thoughts to notice whether they're there or not. So you're going to notice them. And when you start noticing these negative thoughts, then what happens is we start judging ourselves, or shaming ourselves, or blaming ourselves. We make it a problem and we start freaking out. Right? Oh my gosh, there's negative thoughts. I've been trying not to be negative, and there I am being negative again. I just heard them and I saw them, and I can't stop myself from thinking them. So the more that you try and resist having negative thoughts, the bigger the negative thoughts get, the louder they get, or the more that you will see them. So that is not a useful tactic to go out onto the golf course and say, I'm trying not to be negative, because your brain is going to give you some negative thoughts, and then you're going to sit there and blame yourself and shame yourself for being negative, and then we're going to make it a bigger problem. Then we start pushing it away with all these positive affirmations. No, I'm a great player. No, I love this shot. No, I'm amazing at this shot, right? And your brain just doesn't believe it. Your brain's just going to call BS on it. And so now you have all this dialogue going in your head, fighting this negative thought that's over there that you believe pretty strongly. And then you got these BS positive thoughts that you're trying to smush and drown out the negative thoughts. It just isn't a useful tactic. And it takes too much mental energy when you're out on the golf course. And then the third thing that I want to talk about is There's a difference between where you want your ball to go and where you want your ball not to go. Right? We do want to know where we don't want to go. For instance, we don't want our ball to go in the water. We don't want to hit it in the bunker. We don't want to hit it on the short side or long or in the rough. And then there's knowing where I want my ball to go. So often people are, don't hit in the water, don't hit in the bunker, don't three putt. We're directing our brain towards the things that we don't want to do versus focusing on what we want to do. Clearly, we don't want to hit it in the water, and we don't want to three putt, or we don't want to hit it in the rough. But it's more important to direct your brain to what you want to do and where you want the ball to go. Both of those need to exist. We do want to be aware of where we don't want to hit it, but we also want to make sure that we're putting our brain and our attention on where we want our ball to go and what we want to have happen. Because just think of it as a magnet. If you're thinking about where you don't want to hit it, that's where you're going to go. Think about all the times you're like going, don't hit it left and you hit it left, or don't hit it in the water and you hit in the water, or three putt, because you put your brain's attention on that. And like a magnet, that's where your brain went. So while it's okay to be aware of where you don't want to miss your ball or where you don't want to hit it, you do want to be intentional about focusing on where you want your ball to actually go. Okay, so this is what I suggest you do. When you're on the golf course, acknowledge a negative thought when it comes up. Don't make it a big deal. You want to witness it. You want to be the spectator of your brain. Oh, I see you. I hear you. But I'm going to decide to think this instead. And that's why I encourage you to have an arsenal of thoughts that you believe, that resonate with you, that work for you on the golf course to counter the negative thoughts that come up. Because when you go to using those BS positive affirmations that I talk about that don't resonate with you and that you don't believe, they're not useful, because your brain is going to default to the thing that you believe the most. And you're going to believe that negative thought more than you're going to think this phony positive affirmation like, I'm the best putter on the planet, or it's totally possible I could win the US Open, right? All these things that we say to ourselves that we don't believe, your brain is just going to skip right over that, and you're going to hear that negative thought so much more. So you have a negative thought that pops up. Your first step is to notice it and be aware of it, and then you're going to decide to think something instead. You're just going to let it pass by like a ticker on the news, like, oh, there it goes, I saw it, but I don't have to pull it off and think it. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. They're not all useful and valuable. Just let them slide on by and pick out the ones that you want to think on purpose. But you have to believe what you're deciding to think instead. So for instance, with my putting, if I went out and was struggling with my putting, and if I hit one wonky putt and I'm like, oh, here we go again, I'm going to have another one of those days, I would notice that thought. And instead of me going, oh no, you're really a really good putter, right? Which my brain would have not believed, I went to, nope, it's still possible that I could have a great day today. It's still possible I can make some putts. Right? I would switch to something that I still believed, and you got to try them on for yourself, that I believed at least from a scale of 1 to 10, I believed at least to a 7 to replace that thought. And sometimes it takes a lot of persistence and consistency to quiet that negative thought down. But basically what you're doing is you're taking the microphone away from those negative thoughts and you're giving it to something that is more useful. And over time, those negative thoughts become quieter and less frequent and less loud and less potent when you're on the golf course. You become more deliberate about what you decide to think on the golf course for your own benefit. Because when you have positive thoughts, you have positive emotions and you create positive results for yourself. All right, my friends, so don't be surprised when you have negative thoughts come up. This is what your brain is designed to do. The more you resist negative thoughts, the louder they're going to get, especially if we try to sugarcoat them with a bunch of BS positive affirmations. Right? And then when you say, I'm trying so hard not to be negative because I'm saying all these beautiful positive things that I don't believe. Negative thinking is a habit. And the more deliberate you are about quieting those negative thoughts, the more positive thoughts you're going to start hearing and the better your results are going to be. Promise. All right, my friends, if I can help you with the mental piece, or if I can help you find more mental peace around the game, I encourage you to jump on a discovery call with me at kathyhartwood.as.me. And let's talk about what's possible for you. All right, my friends, have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.